Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant. When Saigon fell, American airplanes rescued many of our loyal Vietnamese friends, and our country is better because of what they're doing today. Many started businesses, some because that's what they knew, some because they couldn't get a job. Whatever the reason, they're part of the job creation machine in America, small business. The real estate development sector is dominated by visionary individuals. These men and women can look at land or space and paint a mental picture of what could be. Let's go to Southern California, to Orange County, to Little Saigon. Frank Zhao, founder of Bridgecreek Development, is the man most responsible for prosperity in this place today. He left home when he was 11 and supported himself with a paper route. When the communists took over Vietnam, he left his home country with his wife and his dream to live in freedom. They arrived in Camp Pendleton, Southern California, with virtually nothing. Yet within 5 years, he had begun developing a city within a city, one building at a time, an actual exit off of the 405 Interstate Highway. This is a story about leaving home, about the power of capital and the power of ideas.
Bridgecreek was very nicely named by the banker that I work with. He and I sit down when we determined to form Bridgecreek. We do know then there are differences. There are cultural problems. So we don't want to emphasize it too big. We consider that is a small gap like a creek and nicely run with water. And it just needs a small bridge to cross to make it really nice and really culturally right, and is in certain shape and form is poetic.
The creek in this story is Bolsa Avenue in Westminster, California. Kathy Bouchot, former mayor of Westminster, is now Frank's property manager.
Had it not been for Frank Zhao himself, that this little corridor of Bolsa would still be the same as it was 25 years ago. No one in this community ever thought that Bolsa would become a business area. And this being just a largely agricultural area, some little strip centers, but never could anyone back in the early days imagine that it was going to become the metropolis that it is.
Cô nhận cái này của chú Phan để chú Phan đi con coi ngày nào.
Today, Bridgecreek, with 15 employees, handles 1,100 tenants, occupying nearly 2 million square feet of commercial space in 10 buildings. Frank inspired others to build, and his Asian garden is at the heart of a 4.5 square mile area.
I was very lucky. I came into the real estate market when the economy was booming. The real estate was selling rapidly, fast. House pricing in 1976 and 77 go up in a daily basis. So it doesn't take much skill under the environment to get the job done. Education is the main thing. I go to as many real estate class and seminar as there were available in those days. And I buy as much book in that area as it possible, so I would be able to get the knowledge out of it.
But when did you make the leap to being a developer? I mean, you know, that's a big leap, don't you think?
Yes, what motivated me was working in my same office. There were two gentlemen, one who worked for a developer in acquisition of land. The other gentleman was working with investor of selling commercial property. Both of them seemed to carry a lot more prestige along with bigger income than the rest of the people in the office. And I thought, well, that was a perfect mirror that I wanted to be. Okay. The first project that I get into was the result of a big commission that I sold a big industrial park. I sold a big industrial park. The commission and the income, the net out of that transaction, given me $350,000. That was the biggest amount I ever made in my life.
And that was in what year are we in?
1979.
1979. So here you are, 4 years into this business. You've got this huge pile of money. Now, why didn't you just go buy yourself a big fancy house?
That has never been in my planning. My planning is to take every dollar I have and put it back into investment.
Over 400,000 Vietnamese Americans say this is their cultural and commercial capital. The Asian population in the U.S. is up over 70% in the last decade. The merchants and service providers in Little Saigon are prospering in their niche and enriching all of us with their product offerings and gracious service.
There's nothing, to me, a secret, including business formula. And that's the principle I have always operated on.
Okay, is business a formula?
It is a formula, but it's not a secret formula, because I don't believe in repeating to do the same thing as you did before. Everything I do on the next project would be completely different. I don't repeat the same thing on anything I do.
All right, well, how do you know if it's going to work or not then?
To me, if I have to repeat the same formula that what I have to do, then it takes all of the thrill out of it. To me, everything has to be improved, novelty, otherwise I don't do it. I see every project is a piece of art, and every developer is an artist. And we need to do it both in the economic way of artistic as well as the real life artistic. Otherwise, it lost the fun of creation. I go out and acquire a piece of property, and that's the beginning of planning, marketing, lending, constructions, management. That's the process. After I acquire the property, then after I have a plans, designed and approved by the city, then the next biggest hurdle is to go out and get a bank that's willing to lend money to do construction development to a person who have no track records of being a developer, who have no big bank account, who has no background of educational background in construction. So that was the challenge.
So you owned the land?
Right.
That's all you had, though?
Right, right. Even
Okay.
buying the land, I would still need a loan because $350,000 doesn't buy the land.
Wasn't enough. Okay.
Right.
All right. So what did you do?
I approached the bank anyway, and the bank basically told me that there isn't enough ingredient here that they can give me a loan of $3 million.
That's what you wanted? You wanted $3 million?
Well, that's what it takes.
Okay. That's what it took then.
build.
Takes more now, but that's what
Right.
it took then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to ask him, give me your list. Give me a requirement list, and I'll go back and fulfill it. In one of the lists, would be a feasibility study and a loan package. I found out that a feasibility study at that point, at that time, we can bring in a consultant to do that and pay them. So that solved the problem. Then we need to put a loan package together. A loan package normally being charged by the loan broker back in those days for a considerable amount of money. And I wasn't ready to do that, and I couldn't even afford that.
Right.
So I have to figure out a way how to do the loan package myself.
How long did it take you then to go back to that same banker who told you no and say, okay, here's my stuff?
About 3 weeks in total.
3 weeks. So now you've been in this country 5 years, 6 years, and you've just gotten a $3 million loan.
That was the first loan I ever had at the time. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it. The center today ended up to be about 50,000 square feet in total.
Okay. And you still own that?
I still own that. That has been basically my lifesaver throughout the years.
You mean it works?
It worked very well, and it produced a lot of income so that I can use that to venture into other investment.
Who is this man? What did he learn on the streets of Da Nang? He seems so innocent, so simply gracious. Yet look at where he has come from and where he is going. Bridgecreek development exists today because Frank Zhao believed there is an answer to every question. He could have continued selling real estate and not had to think about getting a loan from a bank. He could have used his big commission check to build a home for him and Kathy, but that's not how the story goes. When told he had to present a loan package to a banker, at night he went to the parking lot of the bank and dug through the dumpster to find old loan documents to use as a guide. After he had studied the form of the borrowed documents, he was able to create his own. Building what we see today took years and many more creative approaches and practical decisions, like hiring the former mayor of the town. The root of Frank's achievement, he believes there's an answer to every question. To read the entire script of this program, go to smallbusinessschool.org. This is Kathy Zhao, Frank's wife, who is responsible for human resources and bookkeeping.
You have to listen to what other people feeling too. Not only you have only one way, you have 2 or 3 ways to listen to people. Yeah. They always give me some advice. I go home and think about it. I think it's good.
And these are the people of Bridgecreek. Just like Frank and Kathy, they all left home.
Everything is changing every day, and his vision changes. So you have to keep pace with Mr. Frank Zhao all the time. Everybody in the office knows, and we work as a team to reach that goal.
Frank is mentoring the next generation. This is Ryan Hubris. He came from Vietnam at age 8, unable to speak a word of English. Today, he's president of Bridgecreek.
I really didn't learn the true meaning of integrity until I worked with Frank. Because while there are opportunities, to get ahead, but Frank never at a cost for somebody else. And I found that the success of his business was really all about doing the right thing all the time, not just for the one deal or something short term. It's a long term. And that's reflected in a lot of his philosophy. He believed in the karmic forces. Do the right thing, be a good person. If somebody wants to do you wrong, that's their business, and they'll get what is coming to them. And all you can do is do the right thing.
So one of the secrets then to building your business is that you've hired people who like managing.
I need to get people who is good in certain area that I'm not good at, so we both can arrive as the highest yield possible.
So I don't get it. You're managing 1,100 tenants, but you don't like managing.
I can create a formula of management, but I don't like routine daily work. But I really enjoy come back and help when there's a problem. I'm good in troubleshooting, but not good in doing daily repeated work.
Okay.
I think management is extremely important. I have seen it over and over. You know, buying an automobile is not as difficult as keeping it in a top shape over a long time.
This is some special tea that's $96 a pound. So this is very special tea. Come from what country? Taiwan. From Taiwan.
People not only need a place to shop, but they also need a place to reflect their common interest of culture.
The first thing in the morning when the mall opens, the tenants will come to the second level for the shrine of the Quan General. He's referred to as the red-faced general, protects all the people in the mall. So the tenants will come up in the morning, burn their incense, make their offerings, and say their prayers every day.
And culture include education, include entertainment, and art. So all of those, all of a sudden, just automatically evolve into a whole big program. So in order for the commercial establishment to be a success, all of the other element has to be there.
What are the secrets to building community, to building the right kind of space that engages the community?
Well, when I go out and look for my location to start, I need to look into, first of all, the affordability of land. The location would be compatible to the people who I intend to serve. Those are the two most important elements. Then the real estate expertise come into the picture of accessibility, friendly governments, and all other. Typical real estate measuring on the success is the foot traffic that brings about to a center. But to me, that is important. Yet at the end of the day, the highest rent we could get out of each square foot of the center is the key measurement. Of course, that totally relies on how much traffic. Having high traffic of a center does not necessarily mean highest yield on the rent, because the formula, how you apply it, so the tenant can get the most out of it. The tenant has to be profit first. If the tenant is not profiting, the shopping center owner would not be able to profit in the long run. So it is always that we need to look out for the profitability of the tenant first, and then automatically we benefit.
I see.
So how long have you been at the mall here?
How long? It's almost 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. And you're
About,
doing
she was an original tenant in this unit when this one opened 10 years ago.
So until now.
Until now.
I think the most important thing is we need to listen to the tenant.
Listen.
Yes, listening.
如果有條錢仔喺度啊，擺下冇所謂，而且我等大耐我啲錢。
Listening, and then you see if they are reasonable. Of course, you have to do everything that to make them happy. And Frank make sure that all the shopping center is doing everything for the tenant to have the potential to make the tenant grow with the company.
Little Saigon. When did this neighborhood get this label, and how do you think that happened?
Well, it happened because the majority of shoppers here are from Vietnam. And Little Saigon is needed because the Vietnamese in America overall, not only in Orange County, need a new home. And this is considered now as the capital of the Vietnamese American and the home of the Vietnamese American outside Vietnam. This is a residential tract that in the northern part of the shopping center and transit into the commercial area and being softly sandwiched by a mini cultural park called the Confucius Square. To put it in one simple word is Confucius reminds all of us to retain the simplicity of the human character.
You've won all these awards. I mean, you're seen as the person who took on this project on his shoulders and has done so many good things. What else are you going to do?
My plans is by the end of this year, I would only engage no more than 50% of my time with the current business. Currently, I plan to use 25% of the time doing things that doesn't have nothing to do with profiting. And then I plan to take the other 25% of time doing business overseas.
Mr. Frank Zhao's vision is to expand into Asia, and he's planning to build his bridge to extend to China. He has a unique talent. He creates visions, and he pursues, and he tries to implement it. Unlike other people, they just have visions, and they're scared to take risks.
In Asia, only money makes money. In the United States, if you're well educated, good knowledge, and have technical skill, you have a fair chance of making sizable amount of money as well. But it is always the basics of money makes money and makes the fastest money that I have learned when I was a young kid. I came from a family of 9 brothers and sisters, and we were common class, common family. Sending kids to school is a struggling for my father.
Right.
So I have determined to do something so that I can be ahead of that and beyond what my family was able to give to me. When I leave the family, which is I left the family quite early, at the age of 11, I left the family beyond my own.
You worked and you had your own place, or I don't know?
I was still maintaining school. After school, I spent an average of 6 hours a day delivering newspaper, and that gave my income to sustain myself. And talking about luck, and one further, 2 years into it, the newspaper distributor determined that I can do a good job, so he gave the whole distribution business in that whole city to me. And all of a sudden, at the age of 13, I have 6 guys work for me.
Wow, were you on a bicycle doing this?
Yes, it's a bicycle.
Wait a minute, did that just break your mother's heart for you to leave home?
She has so many kids, I'm not sure if she cares that much. She does care a lot. Later on, I learned. But I didn't think she cared when I left. I didn't want to be in an environment that boxed myself into difficulty, not only economically, but the way people think around you affect how you think as well. So I want to get out of it.
So where did you get the little light, the insight that you didn't want to think like your parents were thinking?
I guess the real light was my family was a big family and financially poor, while a lot of my relatives are really well-to-do. So every year, because the family and relative in Asia are very close, every year my uncle, my other relative came and helped my family, giving them different sort of help, including monetary help. Okay. And I sit there, I said, that's not right. Why are we not the giver? Why are we the receiver? The receiver is always the poor guy in all different aspects. And I want to be the giver. When I grow up, I don't want to be the receiver.
And you are the giver.
I become.
Bridgecreek development exists today because Frank Zhao believed there's an answer to every question.
Our Secretary of Commerce says we should all go global, just like Frank.
Hi, I'm Don Evans, Secretary of the United States Department of Commerce. If you own or work for a small business, we can help you find new buyers throughout the world. Most companies that export are small. Some are family-owned, or will be in the future. To realize your dreams and help your business grow, contact us at 1-800-USA-TRADE and follow the flag to new markets around the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There's streaming video and interactive study guides.
The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.